Hello, humans of the internet. Waiting for more humans to get. Like, I have to theme it up with whatever I'm glad the Twitchiverse can hear me. Glad the new microphone's working. I don't know what the sound quality is like on this one. I tried it out on Audacity to make sure that it was functional, but I don't know how it sounds coming out to you guys. So let me know how this one sounds. Some notification pops up. So this is where we are as a country, Germ. Yeah, I wore this wig before. I think this was I have this one in pink and in like a nice ombre blonde, and this is like the best wear it out and nobody realizes it's a wig. It's just there. It's short enough that it's not. People don't realize it's not my real hair, which is kind of crazy. Anyways, glad the sound is good. Anyways, we're waiting for people to file into the pews. Children, don't be afraid. We are here preaching science. My God, it's oh yeah I don't know. I don't know if it was intended to match the chair. It's just all my pinks they kind of blend into one. Oh, I'm glad I got some folks tuning in from Australia on your Saturday morning. Let's see. I had, as usual, I had no plans for today, but I think that's kind of how these things. We have a buddy dog joining us because that's how a buddy does. Buddy came over to sniff my general area and then wandered back off before I could pull him into the fray. Let me expand my screen on it. Thank you. There we go. Oh, right. Whew. There we are. Okay. There. It's eventually I'll be fine. Aw, Dan, you're banned over on Facebook. What did you do? Did you say, like, was there? Well, I want to know what the offending sentence was. Was it so bad it'll get you kicked off YouTube if you say it? Whew. So someone's tuning in from I feel like people aren't that aware of this over on SciBabe. I have a Red Sox tattoo, and like that seems to blow minds when I mention it here because like people don't. Like, I don't talk about my baseball fanness over here all that much, but oh shit, you have a breakthrough COVID case in your family. Oh yeah, Buddy is coneless. So let's just do a quick update on the Buddy. So when Buddy had surgery and I brought him home from the vet and took the cone off, like I'll admit it, like I got a little defensive when people are like, put the cone back on, and you get defensive when people tell you what to do with your dog. And here's the thing. I was keeping an eye on him, obviously, because he just had surgery. And he had, like, if you guys haven't had an animal that's had PU surgery, be glad. It's horrifying. Like, they come home from the vet and, like, my dog needed an extra 2 days because as my husband, I haven't seen the x-rays, but as my husband has phrased it, he was just fucking full of crystals. Oh, my God. So he was very full of crystals, and so it took a few extra days. I was trying to say the hospital and the vet and the shed. Yeah. Anyways, somehow I ended up saying the shed instead of the vet. Somehow. Anyways, ended up saying a few extra nights. Came back and like just bruised, so purple and so poor thing. So he comes home, and we have him in the cone for I think it was 3 weeks, and the vet said, "Yeah, go ahead, take it off." Like didn't didn't say you might have to put it back on, but like I'm keeping a close eye because I've looked online, and it said, it gave all the instructions that everyone had given here before. But I've learned, don't go into too many details when it comes to a medical anything, especially when it comes to pets, because if you go into a lot of details in a thing on here, it turns into fucking hell in the comment section because everyone's like, I know how to take care. And I get it. A lot of people had a lot of things. Just like there were vets in the comments being like, "Here's the thing you have to do." I'm like, I know what I'm keeping an eye, and if the licking is too much, because he just got the cone off and his undercarriage needs a good solid like cleaning. But we were keeping an eye to see if it was getting too much, and it did get to be too much. So we put the cute little, the soft cone, the one that looked like he was going to the beach, and it looked like an adorable little, like, it's a little clothy one that's designed for cats. And because he's smaller than our cats, it was perfect for him. It's so cozy. Like, if anyone's looking for a thing that's soft, like that's just big enough for to stop their tiny dog or to stop their cat from licking themselves, this thing was perfect because this dog is such a cranky pain in the ass when he has to be coned, and this thing was just enough to get in the way of, just to make it annoying for him to be able to eat any of his buddy. It's hard for you to eat your ass today. Sorry about that, boy. Whew, yeah, that's anyway, hello Dick topic. Anyways, so that was that's yeah. So anyways, got to take that off of him. And here's the thing: you take it off because you're like, all right, it seems like he's trying to scratch his to eat himself a little bit less now. Took it off, and we're very cautious. And thank God he's back to normal now. No cone, no little inflatable. It was so funny. I was walking him, and somebody asked me if they could take a picture of the dog because he was just so cute with that little if I had it nearby, if Sci-Hub gets home while we're doing this, I'm going to ask him to bring it over so I can show you, because it's just the donut of shame we had on him. Like, it had little kitties printed on it. It was the cutest fucking thing. Anyway, so yeah, he's better. He's out of his cone. Bonnie, one of the cats, had a vet appointment this week, and it was just a checkup, and she's doing fine. Anyways, so I see a question. Our governor signed an executive order to not mandate masks in school. Ron DeSantis is an awful human being. I don't know what else I can fucking say about that. Masks why did masks ever become a political talking point? I don't know, but everything becomes a political talking point. And this is just really fucking sad. I hate that I'm bringing him up here, but somebody every so often, his name comes up on my timeline, a few neurons fucking backfire, and if I don't spit these thoughts out at somebody else, I will have a seizure or a stroke. That's how science works. I'm a scientist, trust me. Science works. But if I don't spit this out at someone else, I won't be able to work, and you guys are here for me. So it's David Silverman. Not the Simpsons guy, the former American atheist guy. If this is triggery for anyone because he's a piece of shit, I apologize. Take 5, go get yourself a snack, come back in 5. Anyways, hello, Star. Thank you for coming. Give me a quick second. But this was really upsetting, and not here's the thing. I don't have an investment mentally or otherwise in David Silverman anymore, because he just look, whatever happened that got him, because he apparently was fired from being president of American Atheists before the sexual harassment or assault accusations became public. So I don't know what was in the money, whatever that got him fired. Whatever. I don't know, nor do I care. Because when you turn into that much of a Simon has entered the chat. When you turn into that much of an unrepentant jerk afterwards, when your personality seems to make that much of a complete 180, I feel like either I didn't know who you were before, or it turns out, someone just asked if that's vodka. No, they are Waterloo lemon lime. It tastes kind of like a lemon or a lemon lime popsicle, just less sweet. But yeah, they're fantastic. Anyways, I'm not paid to say that. The financial relationship is I give them money, they give me fizzy water. Anyways, but yeah, and I say this it's disappointing because, as a lot of people have said about Silverman, as this whole thing has happened, it doesn't feel so much like he's changed as it feels like we've found out who he really was all along. Because he was kind. He was really he felt, at least, like he had the jerk persona, the asshole persona. At least that's what we told ourselves, and it feels really horrible watching someone who we kind of told ourselves it was a persona turn into this. But now, in the last week, he's kind of turned anti-masker. He's like, I'm vaccinated because I'm vaccinated. Masks are bullshit. Masks don't work. And it's like, I don't know if you've heard, but surgeons in an operating room, people who know more about medicine and germs and that kind of stuff than you or I, David, they put on masks so that they don't cough germs or spit them, just in the little spittle that comes out of your mouth all the time, so that those germs don't go into somebody's body. And he's like, I don't spit. There isn't spit coming out of my face. I'm not putting snot bubbles. I'm like, oh man. Oh, David, how far you have fallen. Anyways, that makes me sad. And what makes me sad is, here's the thing. He's not the only one. He's one of many, right? That's happening a lot. It's happening. I've seen people talk about their parents who were nurses who have stopped understanding that germ theory is a thing. Why is this happening? So whenever you hear people talk about germ theories, like, thank you, Matt. Germ theory is like I got to Alex Jones this. Germ theory is communism in disguise. Cybabe has been bought off by the pedophile overlord lizard ruler. Wake up, sheeple! I'm sorry if that terrified anyone. I hope it was good for you. The American swimmer? Who's the American swimmer? Was there an American swimmer who was yelly? Did I miss that? Was there? I missed it. Sheeple. I'm glad I could bring you some joy with my definitely not on point Alex Jones impression. Anyway, so that's been that was weighing a little heavily on me because I've seen people who were used to be like at the top of quote logic mountain, or at least they would have planted themselves there. Take really depressing stumbles to the point where I look at them and go, what is your problem? It's I hope this is a joke. Somebody asking me why I have a Bin Laden poster behind me. I'm going to take this off the wall so you can see what this is. That's Carrie Fisher. That's Carrie Fisher giving the finger, holding her dog, Gary. That's Carrie Fisher. That's Carrie Fisher. Did I mention that Space Mom? That's Carrie Fisher. It's Carrie. Anyways, it's not. If Al Qaeda wants to fund me, I'm not going to do any terrorism for them. But like, I really need new flooring. So I can't help them with terrorism though. That's like the only thing I'll use their money for is to put a new floor in here. I will waste their money, same as I do everyone else's. I will spend it on drugs for myself. That's what I will do with their money. I will spend it to keep my life going. But like that's there will be no that's what I should we're just gonna put Al Qaeda sponsored in the bottom, just see how that works out. Anyways, but yeah, that's you can get that still online somewhere if you just Google whatchamacallit, Space Mom giving the finger. There's an artist put that out not that long after she passed away, and I fucking had to get that. So just make sure you go and buy it from the original artist, please. Pay artists. Anyways, so let's get back to people not sciencing. But yeah, we've got Cybabe is CIA funded tapes. Don't accuse me of that. Like, if I'm going to take money from someone, if it's going to be CIA or Al Qaeda, it's going to be Al Qaeda. I mean, just saying, as we covered earlier this week, Ho Chi Minh was funded by the fucking OSS. He was an intelligence asset. I'm just saying, we're learning so much history through my science column. I'm learning more history through my science column than I think I did in U.S. history class, which is not saying much for the history education I got in Farmington, New Hampshire. Sorry, Mr. Myers. Just gotta drop that there. Anyways, someone will quote you on Germ. Oh God, you're right. Somebody's gonna take that little clip of me, Alex Jonesing, and just throw it out there and be like, oh God, the left is coming over. They've gone crazy. I hope. Are you from? What? I can't tell if you're joking with these questions. Am I from? I'm a Jewish Cajun girl or a Cajun Jew. I'm not sure how you're supposed to phrase. Either way, no. You see, oh, there we go. I would see, that is the funding I want. I want to be funded by the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. That's the funding. That is the CIA I want funding me. There we go. That's the intelligence we need behind this operation. Culinary Institute of America. That's what I want. So there we go. It's Carrie Fisher believe in terrorism. Oh. I read that at first. I did not read that correctly at first. I was like, Carrie Fisher believe in terrorism. What do you? Oh, you genius. So I do what I can, Jeff. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. So, oh God, you guys know James was kidding, right? Like James and I, we chit chat during the week, and this was funny. His article on Hillary Clinton was funny because he told me he was doing it before he was doing it, and I'm like, people are going to be mad, right? He's like, and that's why I'm doing it. A Cajun. It's I it was funny because I used to call myself a French Jew because it's like who's going to call who knows what who knows what an Acadian is anyway. And besides, like the best way I can explain an Acadian to an American is I just tell people I'm a Cajun, but I'm from Canada. Like we're the Cajuns that didn't quite make it to Louisiana. They're like, oh, okay, because Acadians are much closer related to Cajuns than they are to Quebecois. And if you say you're Acadian, people go, oh, French Canadian. And we're not the same, like different groups kind of genetically, different groups that like different, what's the word I'm looking for? Different migrations. So basically if you like when I took my DNA testing, it was interesting. They even said which migration I came over in, and like they had it down to which city or which part of Nova Scotia my family's from. They got it accurately. It just tells you how many cousins I have that are cousins on both sides of my mom's family. Oh, just saying, we swamp rat. Doesn't matter if we're from Canada or Louisiana. I'm half swamp rat. Just we speak French. It just makes it sound fancier. Anyways, not a Cajun. I'm a Cajun. Look, either way. I'm American. That's what I. This is the only. This is the way you get a half Cajun, half Jew. Is America. And that's like as much as it is fun as I like to like look, I criticize America, and I think that's true of those of us here that are from this country, which is most of my audience. We criticize this place because we want it to be better, not because we hate it. Like I wouldn't have been like I say that, and whenever someone says my story wouldn't be possible anywhere but here, like that's not always 100% true, but like there are, I believe, more Jews in America than there are in Israel. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. The Cajuns are a migration that came over from France, went over to Canada, got kicked out by the British. Like my people were both trying to get away from fucking something. Like, and the main, I've joked about this before while I was trying to figure out each side of my family. On each side of my family, the main dish, my father's side of the family, if you guys are familiar with Judaism, our dish that people are familiar with is, of course, latkes. On mom's side of the family, there's a dish called, the main Acadian dish, if you guys have ever been to Nova Scotia, is a dish called rapi pie, where you take potatoes and grate the shit out of 20 pounds of potatoes and wring a lot of fluid out of them. So basically, the only two things that each side of my family has in common is that we have no country, and our main dishes are made of potatoes that you've squeezed the life out of all the water in them. So that's all my parents had in common, and they managed to build 2 children out of it. So they had nothing else in common, though. That's it. So that's all I got. So I do have a deep love for the potato, though. Cheers. Every hardly worth anything has been kicked out of the British by somewhere. Yeah, like that seems to, it's funny because I realize the more I write about Australia, the more I'm actually writing about British imperialism. Like it's funny because I wrote one that, every time I go back to something that happened with First Fleet, with the first shipment of critters, and it's like it was like their whatchamacallit, it was their what's the word I'm looking for? Their Noah's Ark, so to speak. Like, we need to bring 2 of everything to repopulate Australia, this barren continent. Oh, England. You done bad. They sent over First Fleet, these ships that were carrying. It said they sent the foxes and the bunnies and the everything else that, of course, Australia needed. If we didn't send it over, what would they do without these animals that we have to send? Oh. So writing about that, it's funny / horrifying / sad reading all this stuff and going, oh, like, it's funny because you go back early enough and you go back to late 1700s, early 1800s, and these people are referred to as the Europeans. And after a certain point, they start being referred to as the Australians. It's like the Australians and the indigenous. And it's like, somewhere in there, it stops being the Europeans and the indigenous and the Aboriginal peoples. And it starts being like the Australians and the Aboriginals. And it's like, how did that happen? How did that little fucking switch change in there? Don't know how that happened, but I found that interesting that keeps coming up. But yeah, it's hi British here. Sorry, I'm too polite to kick people out of anywhere. I wouldn't want to offend anyone. See, that's something that Canada definitely got from their forebears. They're very sorry. Except I'm just saying, except for 2 Indigenous people. Anywhere Brits go, they see somebody that was there before them, they're like, get the fuck out. I got to take your island. That's just a thing that happens. British people go to a new place. They're like, I assume this is mine now. Not to steal a joke, because you guys all know that somebody else said this before me, but they go somewhere new and they just ask, but do you have a flag? No flag, no country. It is England's. If you haven't heard that routine by Eddie Izzard, like, just stop watching me right now and go watch that. That is way more worth your time than me. But yeah, it's been weird that, like, it's been a kind of like, there was no plan for the column. If I had planned this column, that would have been, I would have been way smarter than I was. But, like, I didn't plan to go down all these science history rabbit holes. I didn't plan to that they would be so, like, let's find all these different things about every last bit of history and legislation and thing about that was happening in the country at the time that caused this incident to happen. But it's kind of how it worked out, and I'm really happy with the kind of I'm happy with the work that's coming out of it, because every time, like, I went back through and just was scrolling through the blogs on scibabe.com yesterday. I'm like, what have I written? Like, have I gotten to the point where I've forgotten some of the articles? And I read stuff from ages ago, and I was like, man, just like the marathon article, I'm like, I didn't realize I'd written stuff about, like, ancient, the history of ancient Greece. These were things that just fucking came up through the course of this, and the hours of fact checking on the history are, for some of these articles, far longer than the hours of fact checking on the science. Like, for potato blight, for the Irish potato famine, I knew about potato blight already. I did, like, there was a little bit of extra fact checking for figuring out what kingdom it was from, because that was, like, I did not realize the Chromista kingdom was a thing. Sorry, I apologize if I mispronounced that, but that was, like, figuring out the story behind that, because I don't know about you guys, but all I remember hearing from school, if you're a history major, this does not apply to you, or if you study, if this is a thing you studied in school, you obviously got the DL on this before us, but, like, I did not remember most of this about the Irish potato famine, or, as a lot of people have from Ireland have pointed out, it's more commonly called the Great Hunger now. I remember it being called just, like, oh, they had a bad year for potatoes and it was bad and they died. And going through and reading the history and seeing all of these complicated things that were in there, that were happening, all of the, the fact that that the Irish basically lived under tyrannical rule by the British, that there was all these other issues at the time. It's hard to look at this all and go, yeah, I could just talk about the science. I could talk about the science and this would be enough. Like, no, that's not the case. Like, if I'm going to tell the story of these, like, yeah, it's not just that a blight, that late blight showed up and we had a few bad years of crops, because that's not the story. The story is about 200 years at least of 200 years that I could find of legislation that was just fuck the Irish Catholics. Like, that was the important part of it. So it's like, as much as I went in thinking, oh, I have a thing to write about, like yesterday I wrote a thing about pesticides and how bad they are. Here's a thing about how pesticides could have saved oh, this is complicated. So it was, it was a much heavier story than I expected, because there were things that they just did not tell us about, because they didn't want us to know how fucking, I don't know if there was a thing where they didn't want to, tell us how bad it was, but, like, I don't remember them telling us in high school, yeah, this was basically a deliberate starvation of the people. Someone asked, why would a biology book explain tyrannical rule of Britain, though? A biology book wouldn't, Abdo, but you would expect a history book to do that. And I don't remember history books telling us much about how terrible that was. I know you said it's often explained as an origin example story of late blight. It's not often it's not often explained as the quote origin story, because that's not the origin of late blight. Late blight came originally from Mexico, traveled up for several years through the Americas first, and that's not the origin of it. So that's the origins of it in Ireland. It's the first time we hear about it in Ireland. There were plenty of other times that there were crop failures in Ireland. So there were plenty of other times even that potatoes failed. The reason that failure was bad is because all the other foods that the Irish people could have eaten continued to be transported out of the country. They, in other times of like, it's strange to try to push back and say This is just the story of this one thing failing, when it's like, or this one pathogen, because it's that was the point, is that it's not. Because if it was just this one pathogen, there was no story. If it was just this one pathogen, then the English would have been like, oh, we've got potatoes failing. Let's get some fucking food over to our people. Let's feed the people. But because they had all these other things going on at the time, right? Because they had all this other shit happening, because they had hundreds of years of Irish not having the same rights as the English, as just the Catholics. In other words, most of the Irish not having the same rights as the English. That's why that was such a fucking nightmare. So you have to look at science in the world that it was happening in. Because if you just look at science as it's happening in the test tube, not very helpful. You need to look at the science in the, in the greater universe. Like, why were they looking into the science? Where was it happening? How was the situation going down? What was the setting? These are all important. Isn't it true that they didn't even care until the production in Ireland dropped? Yeah, and it was partially like there were poor people living off potatoes elsewhere, but nowhere was it quite so like dire as it was in Ireland. I think it was also an ecological combo, because it's like human, like that's, here's the thing, like I'm not sure if you're trying to push back on here's why it was a problem. The reason why it was a problem in England was because of the socioeconomic issues, like all the other issues laid out in the article. Just throwing it out there. I wrote a really good article on it. Like we have to, like sometimes it's not just the fungus, man. Sometimes it's a couple hundred years of tyrannical rule. Gotta throw it out there. Just like it's kind of like how COVID in and of itself. If we all wear masks and do all the things we have, hey, let's go back over to COVID. I'm gonna try to pull this in the direction I want to now. It's kind of like how COVID is a thing that we could have gotten rid of forever ago. We could have made this completely a thing that we could deal with. This would have all been, I'll get to you in a second, Ryan. Thank you for bringing that up. This could have been not a nightmare. Not so much of a fucking nightmare, right? If we'd had political will, if we'd had leaders with the fucking political will to say, this is going to be hard. The patriotic thing to do right now is stay home. We're going to get into a little bit of debt and it's going to suck, but we're going to do this together because it's for the good of everyone and we're going to save some lives. And they could have paid everyone a little bit more to stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home early on. They could have gotten all the cases under control. They could have told us, here are your masks. Could have gotten everyone to wear masks early. And it could have come out and said, here's a formal statement on what happened with the masks early on and why they were wrong about the masks, and gotten everyone on the same page. But you know why that didn't happen? We had Donald Trump for a fucking president, and it fucked everything up. And if you've noticed, messaging from the top, from everyone down in the government, has been much better. Everything's been so much less of a fucking nightmare since that's happened. But a year of utter disaster doesn't go away immediately, and it's been soaked into the media. We still had and this is, oh god, if you guys saw this on it was on Twitter this morning. You know that meme it's the Onion article of the worst person just made a good point, and now you have to kill your Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz was on Laura Ingram. Alan Dershowitz was on Laura Ingraham, arguing in favor of vaccines and masks. And Laura Ingraham, like, I'm sorry, when you're to the point where the Alan Dershowitz is to the fucking right, or to the left of Fox News, I don't know what to tell you. This is the guy that his specious little fucking argument got the president off for something that he was clearly goddamn guilty of, and he is now to the left of Fox News. What? I don't even know how to argue with people who were like, I'm just going to deny reality. Even Alan Dershowitz's broken clock is correct choice. Yeah, like, I just can't with this. Like, at some point the point is, she's not just a massive shitbag. She owes me $500. I'll get into that if you guys would like. But yeah, it's beyond infuriating because it's like, don't these people have older or sick people that they care about too? Because like they keep going, it doesn't, and like of course Laura Ingram's like, oh come on, it doesn't really hurt anyone. Do these people know how to fucking broadcast? Really? But yeah, she's just awful. She's the worst. But I can't watch without the, that feeling of abject horror of, don't these people care about anyone? Because they'll just, they'll go back to, it only hurts the poor and sick. All right, fine. The Laura, it's the Laura Ingram owes me money story. So, and I'm almost sure I've told part of this before. So when I was a young writer and I'd only, written a few things that I'd ever been paid for, and I stopped being a lab scientist that went to a lab and did science and got paid for my lab sciencing, I needed to make money from my writing. And at the time I was writing much more about GMOs and all of the, and writing about agricultural science. And of course the right wing loved that because I was standing up for, for America and stuff. Like I was standing up for farmers, which is kind of more of a right wing thing. And I still, just to be clear, I still stand by every word I said about the science of that. Anyways, but I had, I was more open-minded because they were less crazy when this all started up. So anyways, a friend of mine recommended me for, at the time, Laura Ingram's new website. I don't even know if it still exists. And it was called LifeZet. Now, I never met her, never talked to her. I talked to like my few editors, like via email. I think I had 1 or 2 phone calls with my editor. And my editor was very nice. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus from there. I don't know whose decision it was that threw. Anyways, I wrote 2 articles or worked on 2 articles with them that never got published. Or I told them, don't fucking publish this because I didn't want my byline on their website after I saw what they were doing to my piece. Because I'm like, all right, how can they fuck up a piece about fucking homeopathy or vaccines? Now, the vaccines piece, this was when there was an outbreak at Disneyland and everyone thought anti-vaxxers were leftists, right? Remember when left-leaning people were the ones causing the vaccine I miss those times. Those were simpler times. Anyways, so where was I before I so rudely interrupted myself? Anyways, I write these 2 pieces for her. I write the anti-vax piece, I'm working on this, piece on homeopathy. I end up selling the homeopathy piece to another place because this went so badly. But I'm writing this piece on on anti-vaccine bullshit, and they end up editing. Thank you, sir. They end up editing the anti-vax piece to target a black Muslim guy. Like I barely mentioned him in passing, just to mention, this guy. Compared vaccines to Tuskegee. And, that was just kind of this is what people are comparing vaccines to. And so one of the editors went into that article that I'd linked and just starts attacking this black Muslim group. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, really? Like, these are the people that I'm working with. Like, they can't take a subject like vaccines and not use it as a chance to fucking, like, really, like, this is what I went into this with the best of intentions. I went into it thinking, like there are Republicans that are listening to the science that I'm writing about because, I'm writing in a language that everyone's listening to. I'm writing in I use words that everyone can understand. I try to joke. I try to make this all accessible to everyone, and I wasn't going into to write at a right-wing site and thinking I'm going to push this all away. I'm like, I was open-minded as fuck. But they had to at the first opportunity be like, oh, we gotta attack someone. Really? Like, so as soon as I got that edit back, I was like, and the other thing they did, and is now I don't do these in the MOS because number one, on Facebook, I can't link things. And the other thing is the reason why I stopped linking. Now I have all of my, like, if you see my 300 and at this point 34 page document of all of my MOSs that I've written plus the links that I've used, I have every every citation that I've gotten written down. It's just figuring, because like I'll sit there and try to find, like, say I'm writing down, like this person, went to, attended Cambridge in, from the years 1637 to 1641. I need to find that from at least two places before I'm going to put it down in writing. And like, I'm not sure, instead of like, there are times when it's like my source, or there are times when I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to link to. There are times when I'm like, it is easier if I'm going to write these in one day to just have a bunch of my sources at the bottom of the page than to sit there and sort out a zillion links through the course of it. So that's why the MOSs are, are probably a bit different in terms of sitting there and carefully linking, even if I had the chance to do it, than my old pieces were. But anyways, back to this story, because I rudely interrupted myself. So when they sent back an edit to me, they'd taken out all of my hyperlinks. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, oh yeah, we don't want, I think, and I don't want to, this is just my memory, and memory is of course, volatile. Like, they basically said Laura didn't want links in any of the posts so that people wouldn't leave the website. Like, she wanted nothing to like get people off the website. So Laura was like, yeah, don't link to your sources. Don't bother. We don't need it. Or, put links to your sources, but we're going to take it out anyway. So it doesn't fucking matter. So I'm like, oh, they can't fucking fact check why am I here? You just wanted my name here because you want people to think that you're hiring people who fact check their shit, and you don't care if they can see the places you're fact checking from, because you'll do whatever. Like, I knew that there were at least 4 editors on the thing. There was a lot of bullshit there. But anyways, I sent them an email back saying, hey, my, it's been fun. Thanks for the opportunity. My writing will not be appearing on your fucking website. I don't think I swore that was but that was the thing. Anyways, years later, I'm hunting for the homeopathy article that I ended up publishing at Slate. And I couldn't find it at Slate, but, I type in, because I have the wording of it. I have the final document in my Google Docs, and I type in, a paragraph of it into Google search, and I find it published on LifeZet. I'd had an article with my fucking byline published on LifeZet for 2 years. And it had just goddamn sitting there for 2 years, and that cunt never fucking paid me. You can quote me on that. So I've tweeted, so I emailed them telling them to take the goddamn down. But here's the thing, they took it down. But it had been sitting there getting traffic for 2 years, and my rate was supposed to be $500 for an article. Can you see why? When I had no money coming in and I was a new journalist, I took that job. Anyways, so I'm just saying, that's what it was like agreeing to work for Laura Cuntbag Ingram. Don't do it, because they'll steal your work even after you told them this. You can't, no, bad, and then they won't pay you. So, Laura, you're a douche. Just total cunt rag. Just wanted to throw that out there. Make sure that we're not at all ambiguous about how I feel about Laura Ingram. So, stole work, did not pay for it. So, she's a bad person, a bad racist person who wants you all to die of coronavirus. Allegedly! Anyways, I say that because I don't want to get sued, but also I say it because she is a bad, racist, corrupt piece of shit who will steal from you. Just, Laura, prove me wrong. Send me the $500 you owe me. Send me the $500 you owe me. My PayPal is at the side, babe. Just do it, Laura. Anyways, I'll stop. I will stop ranting about that. But that was a story about Laura Ingram and why she owes me money. So I'm pretty sure if I ever got paid that, I would donate it to a charity. I would don't just to hurt her. I would donate it to a trans charity. Speaking of, I saw Ryan mention that Jamie Lee Curtis had a child that came out as trans. That's so delightful. Was it? I did not. Please. No, Ryan, you mentioned this, so you have to. You're the one that has to remind me. Did she have? Was her son transitioning to? Does she get? What is her new? I would like to know. Does she have? Has she been gifted with a new son or a new daughter? What is happening in Jamie Lee Curtis's life? I need to find out. But it's I love it when. I do kind of enjoy this, finding out that a celebrity has a trans child, because like our family went through that experience. And I don't want to say like, oh, this happened to us. Like, I don't want that to be how how that sounds. But it's interesting having someone in your family transition because you have male to female. Thank you. Gotcha. So she has a new daughter. That's delightful. Yeah, it's interesting having someone in your family transition because you're obviously that changes your family dynamics a little. And I want to be clear on this. My brother is still the same exact. It's look, as much as people are talking about what's in your people will ask questions about what's the anyway. Look, no matter what, there's one part of the anatomy in the pants that will not change. My brother is still the same asshole as he always was. That's all you need to. Anyways, but like the wonderful thing, like when this happens, you realize, and this is something that I hope, I sincerely hope that it's that this will happen. Like everyone has trans friends, even if they don't realize it. Even if you haven't been aware of it in your life, you know trans people. You have trans people in your life, and you learn so much about there are things that are just immutable, whether someone's a man or a woman. That's just part of who they are. My brother has changed barely at all from the sister that I grew up with. And it's, I don't want to, I'm not going to go too much into, like, there are things that I, like, it's interesting going through and having, a person that you think of, that you see 100% as male now, and that you had in your life and in your head and in everything as the other gender. And there are very few things that you realize that change. And it's, and having, seeing people in send her an invoice, right? And there are very, like, there are things that, that there are, the few things that changed, like, my brother and I, like, we were, we were sisters. We talked, sisters growing up talk about sex together. That's kind of a normalish thing. Like if you're one of a couple of sisters or one of a gang of girls, that stuff that you figure out together. It's my brother and I will still talk about certain, like, it's funny. We will, because I have a brother who has in his life had periods. He is like better than any guy on the planet at understanding if you've got a fucking cramp. So that's a delightful thing to it. But yeah, so little has changed. And that's a thing that I think people don't know or see or realize. And it's nice to see someone coming out and say, or it's nice when I see a parent that's in Hollywood or a celebrity that you've seen, from across the blue yonder, have that experience. It's not not a usual one. I don't know how else to phrase this. It's something that's, small percentage of us have had happen in our family. And it's kind of a joy to see someone know themselves better and get to sink into their skin and have their family accept them like that. So it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Thank you. I love you. It's so nice to see someone that's been such a lovely, accepting person to their kid. Anyways, let's hop back over to let's hop into some COVIDs. So, anyways, have we COVIDed enough today? I am not sure. Or we could just go see what's happening on Twitter and see what people are angry about right now. Whew. Oh, wait. This is enough to make people angry. Disney and my best friend since age 4 is trans, and her mom spends most of her time educating other parents of trans kids. It makes me really happy that she has, number one, such a never mind accepting mom, but somebody that's making sure other parents that have trans kids are accepting, educated, are doing the best by their kids. Like I remember when Nikki, who runs Nikki Tutorials, the makeup artist, it's the reason, she's the only reason why I can do a cut crease. I stan her. It's Michael S. Floyd just asked, your brother had a period. How does that work? So my brother is a trans man. So that means that I grew up with a sister. And my brother now, he's a guy now. So that's what happened. He's transitioned, and he's a fucking dude with facial hair and he's got pecs. He doesn't have titties. He's got pecs now. He's a bro. Like just he's a gun owning Midwest bro. Like he's not he's a leftist, but he's definitely a dude. Like there's no fucking questioning on it. Anyways, so we hopped over into the one thing that really changed, if anything, as I mentioned, when we were sisters, chatted about sex more. Like, that's the thing that, like, it's funny. We'll be chatting, something will come up in conversation about that subject that, like, maybe we used to talk about when we were sisters, when we were younger. And like, it's like we both will go, and we'll pause, and it's funny and it's weird and it's awkward. And, it's just a weird thing that you go, oh man, that gender dynamic changed things. But other than that, same fucking human, man. He's just happier. So, you have trans people in your life, just fucking support them. They're going to be way happier after they transition. So be the good human, and just fucking support and love and treat them like you always have, or treat them better. Who knows? Just they're gonna need those hugs. So, anyways, so Disney and Walmart have two places that I talk about here all the time. Disney and Walmart are going to be requiring employees to be vaccinated. How wonderful is this? And my mama just dropped a couple hearts in here. Let's see. We're gonna, as much as I wanted to hop over to COVID, let's see, quote from Jamie Lee Curtis. She said she and her husband Christopher Guest have watched in wonder and pride as our son became our daughter Ruby. Oh, that's delightful. It's just a quick thing. Now, my brother, had been, grown up a girl, and this is kind of normal. It's kind of a thing that, I've seen this happen more than once when people are, figuring out their gender identity, when they're transitioning. People will come out first as bisexual, then as a lesbian. That, he had a slow, there was a transition of things. Now, my brother, when he was, still a woman, when he was at school, he was talking about two girls at a school that were gay. And my father, being this hardcore Republican conservative, like, he said to my mother, "Do they know there are lesbians there?" And like, my mother's like, "They who? What do you mean that, like, what are, like, the people who run the school? Like, it's a school in Vermont. Of course they know. Like, they practically put it on the fucking brochures." But, yeah, like, my mom already, I believe at that time, my brother was already, like, out on some level. And my father was like, "Do they know there are lesbians?" Yeah, so that's I'm just saying, be the good parent who accepts your kid, and 20 years later, both your kids are going to be waiting to get their vaccines to come get you to visit them when the plague's over. So, like, people have asked, how do you make sure you're still talking to your kids, when they're adults? Be good, accept them for the things that you don't understand yet. Like, if you're like, I don't get this, but just say I love you. Just come on, I'm gonna hug you no matter what. That's all you need. We'll figure out the details later. So that's, yeah. Russia reads lesbians go here. I'm just saying, like, it's that'd get me to go. Anyways, let's see. Do I listen to This Week in I know a few people here said that This Week in Virology, I was the one that referred them to this. Do I listen to TWIV? What do I think of their repeated statements on Delta? They seem really unconcerned, have been indicating a viral fitness narrative that's also about unproven that Delta is more contagious. The media this week, all right. So I'm trying to get out of that what I could. So I'm not a great podcast listener. I've been driving a little bit this week, and I listen to TWIV when I'm in the car. So I've caught up on a few episodes of TWIV this week. And if you don't listen to This Week in Virology, and you want some really science-based, like, they're going to discuss, like, far more wonkier, like deeply, like, they're gonna get into the science of things in a far more, like, nerdy, they know more about the stuff than I do, by far. Take their word on things before mine. Now, if they're saying that this is, they think it's less contagious than the media says, I'm gonna, like, I want to listen to a few old episodes. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that it's I've seen mixed reports on, number one, it has, a higher viral load. I've seen one report that says it has a much higher viral load. I'm not sure if that's accurate, so don't panic about it yet. The thing that you should be, worried about in terms of viral load is when you're around people who you don't know their vaccination status, wear a mask. That's the best thing you can do to account for that. So when we're worrying about, oh my God, doom, oh my God, it's contagious. So more contagious, we got to remember back to, hold on. I have a science dog. Oh, buddy, come here. Buddy, come here. Come back. Come here, baby. Oh. Oof, come here, boy. Here we are. Oh, we have a science dog. we have a nose polish. We have a oh, what is it, buddy? Is it the plastic hairs? Is it the hairs? Are they not good? What would Science Dog like to tell people today? What would you like to tell people? That plastic hairs are not delicious, and he would like to make sure that you're all wearing masks when you go indoors around people that are not members of your immediate household. So just there you go. I just want to make sure you guys are all vaccinated and whatnot. But see, he's all freed. He's all freed of all of his stuff. So there you go. Happy buddy. He's and he wants to say and by he I mean me, because he's not happy that he had to have surgery, but the whole family wants to say thank you guys again for helping throw in for surgery, because that was not what I expected while I was on vacation visiting mom, and it was a big old relief off all of our off all of us that everyone threw in so much to help out with the surgery. So thank you guys again, just from the bottom of all of our little puppy loving hearts. Oh, buddy, how are you possibly this cute? How are you this cute? How did I give birth to such an adorable dog? Oh, what happened? Anyways, don't worry. He'll be sitting here for a while, so I'll show you guys some more crystal. I'm not going to show you a dick made of crystals. I'll show you more of the dog that had a crystal dick. Anyways, so yeah, some people have no filter. Never used to be. Oh man, what did you do? So scroll. Where was I before a doggy came over and completely just? Oh yeah, Delta. So we were talking about Delta, and I was chatting about how specifically with Delta, not as so contagion level. So once upon a time, so do you guys remember when we were all terrified that measles was going to come back? Like that was going to be the thing that got us, man, because people weren't vaccinating, and I was actually at Disney. I was at Disneyland on the days that like measles came to Disney. But because I ran this website, I just started running this website a few months before, and I was living in Anaheim. And there's a quiz on the CDC's website, like, which vaccines do you need? So I went and put like where I was, filled out all the information on it, like how old I was, if I remembered what my vaccines were. And it's like, oh, you need your Tdap and MMR boosters. I'm like, oh shit. So that was in October of that year. And the Disneyland measles outbreak, like the days of it were like 2 months later. So I'd gotten a measles booster, which is measles, your MMR vaccine, super fucking effective. The measles shot, super fucking effective. So anyways, I got, the thing is that measles, again, super fucking contagious. Like I forget what the R naught on measles is, but basically say you have a room full of unvaccinated people and one person coughing there at the most contagious point in the measles. I'm blanking on what the exact number is, but the R naught for measles, I want to say is something like 14, 17. It's really fucking high. Like if you're in that room for an hour with somebody just hacking their head off with the measles, much higher contagion, higher levels of contagion, lower chances of your body being able to fucking fight it off right away. R naught is 18. Yeah, it's like I'd seen somewhere 14 to 17. So either way, room full of 100 people, a lot of people are going to get sick. You have a room full of 100 people with somebody coughing who's got symptomatic COVID, fewer people are gonna get sick. All right. So now here's the thing. What we're trying to figure out with Delta is where on that, transmissibility, on that ability to get people sick who are just walking by, what has changed? All right. So we're trying to figure out, is this like, is it that you only need one or two viral particles to make people sick? Is it that is it that this virus replicates so much faster that a person, when they get infected, is able to right away get people, like, there are a lot of things that go into what we mean when we say it's more transmissible. So I'm not sure, when I keep hearing people say, oh, it's more transmissible, it's like, all right, does that mean that that people get a higher viral load on those days that they're contagious? Does it mean that you need a smaller viral load to get people sick? Does it mean that, like, what does that mean? So don't panic about, oh my God, super contagious, until you hear, what the R naughts are, what the, what's going on a little, in a little bit more detail. But, the big thing to remember is you and your family are the ones that are going to keep you guys safe. We had a household member, and I think I'm almost sure I told you guys about this last week. So Ben, the one who has the lovely baritone voice, who was on the Christmas stream, he was super fucking exposed to COVID, like super exposed to COVID from somebody who was vaccinated. Everything is horrible. Sorry, I need to sip. So he was super fucking exposed. Like he was because things were open back up again. He and another musician were heading up for a tour to the Midwest, and they were going to go to lots of shows, and it was going to be great. And that had to be canceled because she, after a few days, she came down, started coughing, and she, at first was like, "Is this allergies?" And it was kind of because the symptoms weren't that bad. She was like, I'll go get chest just in case, and she thought it might have just been allergies. Was COVID, and they'd been, in a car in Airbnbs for a few days together, and yeah, it's kind of horrifying that and of course at first he was like, "Can I even come home?" And we're like, "You're coming home. That's not an option. Like it sucks that we're going to be exposed to someone who more than likely their body is, because it's not like vaccines are not." I like to say they're the Iron Dome like in Israel, not the glass dome like in The Simpsons, right? So like the Iron Dome in Israel, system of missiles that's shooting things down, right? So your vaccine really good at shooting things down before they manage to set up an enemy cell that's trying to fuck up your lungs. But sometimes with vaccines, an enemy cell gets through. And that's what we're hoping. Like the original, like COVID classic was really good at getting those enemy cells down. COVID Delta, a little bit better at getting through, but it's really the vaccine's still good at keeping it to a minimum. And that's what that's why it's like still fucking get vaccinated. You're not going to be hospitalized. You're hopefully, and it's still new. We still don't have a ton of data yet on Delta. I meant to ask about R naught. Somebody tagged me on this. I'll get back to that in a second. But you're not going to get sick long term. More than likely, there haven't been reports of people getting sick long term. There have been far fewer reports of people losing their sense of smell. There have been it's basically most of the reports from people getting sick when they're when they've been vaccinated. They're like, yeah, I just felt like I had a cold for a few days. So that's get fucking vaccinated so that if this eventually. Because life is going to start being life again one day. Might be 2 years, might be 5. Like, I'm pretty sure by the time I'm 42, shit's going to be back to normal, which is a terrifying thought that I'm going to be 42. But it's going to be back to normal. We need to understand that we will be in touch with these viruses as they're floating around freely. It's just hopefully when we have enough immunity from being injected with these with these vaccines, someone's going to clip that and claim that I'm saying, yeah, we're being injected with the viruses. It's hopefully after we have enough immunity and after these viruses have mutated to the point where they're not all that deadly. So that's just, the fucking prayer here. So I saw Mento asking about what the R naught is. So R naught, it's the reproductive rate of the virus. R standing for reproductive, not. It's. I see Kiko saying, "You sweet summer child." I'm like, what did I miss? But yeah, it's basically just the reproductive rate of the virus. So the number that they use there is the number of people that one person is expected, or that any one person is expected to infect once they're sick. Now, the R naught can change for a virus. So remember at the beginning with COVID, we were trying to figure out what it was, and it was higher, it was lower. And the R naught, once, you have a vaccinated population, lower. The R naught beginning of this thing was like, we have no do. It's like, and when we didn't realize that they were asymptomatic cases, it seemed like it was much higher. So once we realized asymptomatic cases, it was, so it's a lot goes into figuring it out, but the main thing is the higher the R naught, the more likely one person is to spread it to a lot of people. And once you get the R naught down to below 0, that means that your epidemic is going to burn itself out because one person is not expected to spread it to more than one. Statistically, each person is passing it to less than one person now. So, I mean, it's still spreading, but it's spreading at a rate that's burning it out. So that's that. So scrolling through, to absolutely ask your doctor. We didn't have chicken. Oh yeah, as I see people talking about chickenpox vaccines over here. If you haven't had a chickenpox, you will definitely. Oh Jesus, if you haven't had chicken, never mind. All right, never mind. If you haven't had chickenpox, get a shingles vaccine. If you're an adult who hasn't had chickenpox, get a chickenpox vaccine. We've talked about or did I say below zero? Sorry, I meant below one. R naught below one. It's thank you for that correction, Jesus. Yeah, R naught below one means it's going away. R naught below zero is not possible. So, sorry. It's look. It's late and I'm not high yet. Like that's my brain doesn't function in the day and past a certain point of the day without some drugs in it, and I'm not on any of them. Eddie, how do you expect me to cope? Where was all right? So chickenpox. Here's the thing. It's kind of, here's something that interesting that chickenpox and COVID have in common. That's the PsyDoc, the doctor that consults on this page mentioned. So both chickenpox and COVID are fairly non-fatal. They're pretty. You get off pretty light with both of them when you're a kid, and this surprised me. And the numbers could have been changed since. Munchin. Chat getting our naughty. Anyways, but this might have changed since the last time I saw it. But it seems that that in terms of the injury, the long term fatality, or it seems that comparing COVID with chickenpox in terms of how it affects children, generally chickenpox is a little worse for kids. A little worse, just that the outcome is a little bit worse in children. So people who are like, oh yeah, it's like whenever I see people being like, I'm not afraid of the chickenpox, I'm not going to vaccinate my kids for that, but like they're terrified of COVID. Several like until like before vaccinating became widespread for it, thousands of children were hospitalized for it every year, and there were a couple hundred deaths in America for the chickenpox every year. So vaccinating prevents lots of miserable, itchy kids and hundreds of dead ones and thousands of hospitalized ones. So vaccinate your fucking kids. I'm just saying it works really well. But here's the thing. The fact that chickenpox is a little worse than COVID for kids, it's interesting. So anyways, here's the kicker on this. We don't know though. Saying that chickenpox is a little worse, we do not know the long-term effects of this in anyone. Like there are a handful, like it's I've just come across this while reading for the column. There are a handful of studies suggesting that various neurological disorders, Parkinson's, all the other ones, are at least partially or can be caused by viruses. Various chronic fatigue disorder and whatnot can be caused by a virus. There are studies coming out now showing that people are dealing with long-term cognitive deficits due to, or it's, I mean, as much as they can't show, quote, causative effects, it's like people who have suffered in the last year with COVID are showing higher rates of cognitive deficits. And if it's not from COVID, it would be pretty fucking shocking. So it looks like COVID is causing cognitive deficits. Another reason to get your vaccine and wear your mask. So we don't, we know we've been dealing with chickenpox since fucking the beginning of time, and for a while, we all got it at some point. So who knows? Maybe this next generation of kids, they're just going to be so brilliant because none of them got chickenpox. Just saying, the Gen Zers are going to fucking rule the day because none of them had chickenpox. But with when it comes to sorry, I just heard yelling outside. But yeah, with is Epstein-Barr virus turns into chronic fatigue syndrome. I've heard that one before. I've heard I know there's also there's one that causes a certain type of encephalopathy that leads to a type of chronic fatigue, and I'm going to screw that one up. But yeah, there are widespread reports now of COVID leading to various cognitive deficits. And look, I'm already dealing with half a deck. I can't. Please don't cough on me. But anti-vaxxers. Oh God, anti-vaxxers are going to get it and become even dumber. Mento. Like maybe they'll stop learning. Maybe they'll just get just dumb enough that they won't know how to send out a missive of all their crazy, and it'll work out. Or maybe someone will vaccinate them. I'm just hoping. Like I want to see what the reaction is to this, because I had not seen this before I hopped on here. Oh man, no, don't go away. I'm just hoping that the fact that Disney and Walmart are requiring vaccinations is going to get enough people mad. Like how many? how many people are going to quit their jobs because they have to get vaccinated? Do you think? I'm just saying a lot of them are just going to line up and get vaccinated. I think a lot of them with their firmly held beliefs are just gonna line up and get vaccinated. Oh, Keith, Chuck, Taylor, Adams, are you allowing guests in your house nowadays or no? We are under, under like they have to be vaccinated. Basically, we're letting minimal guests into the house. There was basically we're because we have 10 people in the house, we're just pretty strict about like it's like, hey, don't let tons of people over constantly. Like it's not no one, but it's not everyone either. So like at one point we were like, yeah, have people over as long as they're vaccinated. Now it's like, hey, don't have parties, but you can have a couple friends over. Like it's at one point we were like, yeah, parties are gonna be that never happened. So just friends, but keep it to a dull roar is what it's at. Let's see. 52 and I still have a chickenpox scar on my forehead. Oh wow, Shake Shack is requiring vaccinations too. Well, now I want to order from Shake Shack. Where should I order for dinner tonight? It was just letting you guys run my life. All right, Disney and Walmart. Where else? Now I've got a mental image of the Punisher, but he just vaccinates people with a trank. Look, I've just said for a while, like I've got these water guns. Like I think it'd just be fun to just like to plop at my window and just spray people with a water gun and be like, "You're vaccinated now." No, that'd be illegal. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no, here's the best comment I've seen on this. I hope people boycott Disney and Walmart over this because I enjoy shorter lines. Look, I'm gonna be going to. I have those I gotten Disney passes a while ago. I think I told you guys about this. I got Disney passes, and when I purchased, like the way you have to set up passes through Disney, and the cool thing about living in Southern California is like I could just buy them and drive an hour. But like bought the Disney passes, and there's a reservation system now. You can't just buy and go. You got to buy and reserve the day that you can use them. So I bought, and I was like, oh cool, I can go later this week. There's a day open. So I bought. And when I went to reserve my pass, the day that I could use it, they're like, sorry, there's no day for another month. I'm like, So I reserved them for, a few weeks later. And that happened to be like, right after I was coming home from visiting mom and I had to sit at home with the dog on my lap all day. So that was, that was what happened. So Buddy was, but Buddy stopped me from going. But here's the, I'm just saying, if it happens to be that I have to, that everyone's look, I'll wait 2 months so that every single person's fucking vaccinated before I go. That makes me so happy. I realize the window behind you is a door. People are talking about the house behind. All right, so the behind me, because you guys have seen me sitting here for a while. That's just it's just a curtain with little holes in it so you can get some light coming through. But yeah, same little place I've been for forever. So it's a neat little cubby hole back here, but it's once upon a time it was pretty messy. Now it's green. So I have more painting. Pardon me, I have way more painting to do in here. People are talking Shake Shack now. Oh, maybe I should get a milkshake. That would be delicious. Buddy, you're being very cute, but you're also very warm in my lap. Buddy bud. How are you this obnoxiously cute? How are you this cute? Mm-hmm. Oh, was that so, huh? He just said he's the result of inbreeding. That's how he's that cute. Inbreeding and lots of snuggles. Cute little man. I mean, we just canceled our Disney World trip this fall because people won't behave. If they're requiring everyone to show their vaccine card to go in, that might be the safest, happiest place on earth. So, yeah, I was happy to go already just because I was like I'm vaccinated, fine, I'll go. Like the worst that'll happen is I'm inside for a little while with a few people that aren't vaccinated while I have my mask on. But it's mostly just I can go on roller coasters again, and I can do that with an N95 on. But man, like the fact that they're required, like I love that it felt like just one person had to stand up and be like, no, this bullshit's over. And I will forever just applaud fucking Emmanuel Macron. Like, was he the first one of the world leaders to just stand up and be like, this is fucking bullshit. Get your vaccine. It's the patriotic thing to do, motherfuckers. We're vaccinating everyone, or else you can't get into places because other people have to deal with your bullshit. This isn't some sort of, oh, you can't tell me what to do. Yes, I can. We breathe the same germs. Like, was it him, or am I misremembering? Because I swear to God, it was Macron who just came out and was like, I'm done. Nah, fuck it. You're getting a vaccine, and you're getting a vaccine. You're staying the fuck home. And it's, I have lots of thoughts on European politics and on many other things that he's done, but this one was good. This is a good one because I feel like after that, lots of other places, lots of other people, Joe Biden, they all were like, okay, we can get on board with this. We can do this. You guys can we can all vaccinate. We can all yell at them to vaccinate. Oh, yay. Okay. I appreciate thank you for telling me I wasn't completely wrong on this, that I wasn't misremembering, that I wasn't on too many drugs. But yeah, I'm just so happy that, like, it basically said, here's the thing. Eventually, someone was going to have to be the first guy or girl. I could have seen Merkel doing it. Merkel or Merkel. Anyways, I could have seen my physical chemist, fucking chancellor of Germany coming out and being like, hello, we are not doing this anymore. I could have seen her being the one, but you know what? Good for Macron. Someone had to do it. All right, Glenda, I need help. I want to be vaccinated, but I'm terrified because all of my life I had weird fucking hair. All right, so here's what you're gonna do. So you should talk to your doctor, because first and Glenda, we want everyone here, me, everyone in chat, we all want you to be vaccinated. We want you to be safe. We also want you to feel safe about getting vaccinated. So what I want you to do, because we are a chat room, we're very friendly. We're also a chat room. Somebody shoot the link to Discord over in there, because we want Glenda to be able to chat with all of you guys, but we want you to not be terrified, and we want you to be okay. So here's the thing: there are possibilities of reactions, right? There are possibilities of allergic reactions that are documented, but because we know about them, and that's the good thing, is that it's not like it's got to be scary to have waited this long, because my God, like I was scared every day that there was a chance that it could be breathed on me. But they know about the reactions now, and all the reactions can be managed in office. Like there have been some minor allergic reactions, and they're all things that can be like no one's even needed an overnight hospital stay. At most, I think people just needed like Benadryl. I think a couple of people have needed EpiPens, but no one's had the reactions have all been manageable. So what I want you to do, I want you to tell your doctor about these concerns and tell your doctor, I want to get the vaccine, but I want to talk to you about it, and I want to be prepared for if there's a reaction. So can we make sure this is all okay for my for my appointment, and go in and have that all done? And I'm sure that your doctor will be so thrilled that you made the effort, that you want to be vaccinated, that they're going to work with you, because every shot in an arm is a victory. So I want you to go and talk to your doctor, and I want you to get vaccinated. So shoot me an email when you got vaccinated. I want to hear, but these are normal concerns. Like you're getting the mystery science liquid shot into your arm, and some people have legitimate reactions to that of varying degrees. So if you are someone who has a reaction, there are reasons why medical professionals know how to work with this. So yeah, don't and if your doctor is not the kind who's going to work with you, get another fucking doctor. Like there are doctors who will listen to you out there. So yeah, that's what you got to do. So here's the thing to remember though. This shot, like even if the first half hour, because the first like 15 minutes to 30 minutes, if you don't have a reaction immediately, like if you're not having an allergic, because the allergic reaction is going to show up almost immediately within 15 to 30 minutes. You're going to feel like shit, though. I just want to, like, almost everyone who's had this, myself included, of course, we feel like you're going to feel like shit. There's a chance that you're going to have like some people have gotten fevers for a couple hours. Basically, as long as you feel okay within 48 hours, that's a pretty typical, like 48 to, like, some people feel like shit overnight. Some people feel like shit for up to 72 hours. But, like, typical is, like, you've got about, like I think after the first one, I felt fine the first day. But it was like the second day, that soreness in my arm. It was the best way I've described it, and I've actually run this race. It felt exactly like running a half marathon. I've run a few half marathons, and it did not feel like running a marathon. Different feeling. It felt like the exact same level of exhaustion and muscle fatigue of running a half marathon. I do not know how else to explain it. Just my muscles ached. I was tired. I was moving at one step, another step, it was just ooh. But yeah, and here's the other thing, as Courtney just said, you might just have no reaction. So prep for reactions, but remember, you might just walk away with some fucking immunity, which would be goddamn cool. So look, do all the prep work. Plan to take at least one day off from work, or get it on a Friday, whatever your work schedule is. Get it so that you can, rest for at least one day afterwards, and you're going to be fine. And the cool thing is, afterwards, you're not going to be so terrified of getting COVID after. It was funny because I was within 2 weeks of getting the first shot. I felt so much less scared because it's all right, I've got enough immunity that I'm probably okay now. And I remember just sitting there when I got the second one, because at that point you're pretty when you get the second one from Pfizer or Moderna, you've been you're basically 80-85% immune at that point. I sat there and had myself a tiny little cry when I went to the to the vaccination center. Just that relief, that waiting for, I sat here with you guys for a year in my attic, and now it's become a thing, and I'm never leaving the attic, or, I'm leaving the attic, but I'm still going to come here every Friday night and hang out with you guys. So, but yeah, you're going to feel so much better after you get it done, and you're going to be I can hug people again without being terrified. It's fantastic. So shoot your doctor that email today. You can do it. It's fine. So yes, that makes me happy, Glenda. Cool. Also, you have a delightful name. Louise, the side effects were great. I was on my ass for a day and a half, but I knew that was because the immune response was that's the so I have an Akiko reminding me that I have a thing to do now. Since I have a doggy on top of me, I'm gonna pick this camera up and do the lickings that way. Oof, come on, oof. Look, I'm doing this however oh man, and the dog did leave anyway. Oh wait, no, Buddy was very determined to stay on my lap. So, screen lick. It's been a few weeks of not screen licking. I'll get Jamila on board with it eventually. We'll get there. So, I gotta let you guys know, I'm so happy that Jamila has agreed to do this with me on a regular basis. I'm having so much fun with her. It's nice to come and do something a little different for the Sunday show, because look, I need at least one weekend day from it's how to say this. I write an article every day. I don't get days off except for when I feel like shit. Okay. I'm tired. So doing every other Sunday is the one day that I'm oh, I feel like I have kind of a slow weekend this weekend. So I need that day off. But here's the thing, having Jamila on with me every other Sunday, it's basically the only way you're going to get a Sunday show out of me at this point. Because otherwise I'm just I'm too tired. But it was funny, the last Sunday show, I woke up and my shoulder, because I have ribs that dislocate sometimes. Oh, that was a rib dislocation day. And I'm in so much pain, but I'm having so much fun hanging out with Jamila that I can't. I couldn't stop. We ended up chatting for another 45. Yay! It was funny. She messaged me saying, my link isn't working. I'm oh, I got you. But no, it was funny because I had other people on, on the stream before, and she was the one that over in Discord, I kept getting messages, hey, when's Jamila going to be back on? And it's just fun to have someone on that, number one, you guys all and number two, I fucking like hanging out with. Just she's number one, she has a ton of experience in broadcasting that I do not have. I just kind of bumble through, and we get through it because you guys like me. But she has all this experience I don't. She's so smooth on her feet, and we can talk about things that I couldn't talk about alone for myriad reasons. And it's just great to have her on board. So I'm just thrilled, and it's just she's a friend that I don't get to see often enough because she lives in DC. So I mean that it's like I said, excuse to work with Jamila more. So I'm glad that you guys are digging her, and I'm glad that we have all of our AV issues sorted. So that's like next. I just need to send her like a light to I just need to like we need to when I want studio lighting in both of our places. So, but that's been fun. So if only we could spread immunity licks. Hey, we've been trying to spread COVID through licks, and it has not been successful. So I don't think we can get immunity through licks. I mean, we could, but I think spreading immunity through licks in person, like that's I was telling you guys for so long, don't go licking strangers. Go licking friends who are vaccinated. So, oof. She is pretty fucking spectacular. But buddy, you're very warm. You're a very warm puppy, and it's a very warm day. Oh, he's like, but I have to be touching every interview that I possibly can. I have to. I must. He's a very snuggly puppy. Very snuggly puppy. I want if any of you guys watch the Surfs over on Twitch, like I want their setup because they have their cute Lance has this cute little dog Chico. I just want a little doggy cam. Like that's the next evolution here is I need a doggy cam to just record the little dude. Just that's except that I'm just saying Lance's dog just sits there the whole time, but he is like, I'm gonna come out and show you guys my face. I need to be out here the whole time because I'm a very attached dog with anxiety issues. Aren't you an attached dog with anxiety issues, baby? Aren't you an attached dog with anxiety issues? He is very attached. So, look, I would let you guys lick me, but that would get really weird. Like after like the 361,000th of you, like. That would just like we at that point we'd have to, it would just turn into a porn at some point. I try not to call people doorknobs. Some of them deserve it though. Just say just a little bit. So fun story. So I'm almost done with the MOS for today. I'm looking at it going, it needs a little bit more work before it was ready to go. I'm writing about a guy that I had never fucking heard of before today, named John Hill, Sir. And it was funny because all the writings about him were quote Sir John Hill, and I'm like, huh? That sounds interesting. And it's like he's like the original internet dark web, intellectual dark web. It should be the internet dark web. Sorry, it's the intellectual dark web. He's like the original IDW guy from the 1700s. No, it's, if you guys didn't know, I'm not on that podcast anymore. I left, and not. It was just. I'm writing too much to sit down. Like, look, I have to sit there and research history and laws and stuff every day. I do not have time to watch a 4-hour porno for the plot for a podcast that wasn't making any money. So I gotta go where the fans want and with what makes me happy. So had to do more of the science writing. Just gotta go with what works for my life. And unfortunately, like, look, analyzing porn for the plot was an interesting part of my life, but no, I'm pretty happy with doing the writing the daily column now. It's working out much better. So let's see. I'm just scrolling. Thank you, Phil. We are wigged today. We're bewigged. I had a great time. I had a great time on it. I love Alice. Like we had a ton of fun. It's just like I said, there was a stress level of like, it's part of it is if you understand how ADHD brain works, like it was just one more thing to balance to stress me out, and I am an easily stressed human when it comes to 16 things in my inbox per hour, and that was just one thing that, like, at the end of it, like, it wasn't just recording one thing a week. It was, there's more than just one thing a week that goes into recording a one thing a week podcast, and it wasn't, there was a lot to do, and just it wasn't working for me anymore. But again, podcast was hilarious. Alice does a lot of amazing work with it. I know she still has, I believe, Kate and Natalia on for guest hosts, and they're just so fucking funny. So like, I left, but keep listening to the podcast. They're great. So Scrolling. Matt Walker and how important it is to get plenty of sleep. Matt Walker, is that the YouTube doctor Matt? I must be thinking of someone else. Are we talking? Are we talking about insults that won't get us kicked off of Facebook, and like in terms of the uneducated potato and an absolute pine cone? I've seen somebody get kicked off for calling someone a turnip once. That was new in terms of root vegetable based insults that will get you kicked off of Facebook. So just be careful with your root vegetable based insults. No, my wife's been trying to put together a podcast, and my ADHD brain has been saying, "Look, I'm just saying." Like I will give I like the podcast wouldn't have started period if it wasn't for Alice's ability to make a thing go, because my ADHD brain's like, no, that's a thing. I don't want to do it. It takes doing a thing. But like, luckily, here's the thing with the column. I get to look up a new thing every day and just find a new bit of science to dive into. And it's just my brain likes this kind of. It's the exact right kind of chaos for me. So it's working out pretty well. It would be very difficult for me to get bored of a column that I can write a different thing every single day. I would have to get bored of writing. The one danger in this is that, like, and I know my brace is off right now, which is, bad of me. I should have my arm braced to be straight at the moment. But like, the one thing that is going to put pauses on my writing and make me have to take days off is that, like, there are days when my arm super fucking hurts. Super fucking hurts. And it's been like, it's been worse lately. Like, I know I took the week off, obviously, or several days off, and 3 days felt like a week. That's how you know I have not taken time off in a while. But yeah, it took a few days off, and it felt very strange to just do nothing. And I'm sitting there on the couch, and Derek's like, "What are you going to do today?" I'm like, "Well, I can't type, can't play video games. I'll paint one-armed. Like, I could do nothing." I did a little bit of research that I copied and pasted with one arm, but like, being a writer and having an arm that's like, sorry, it hurts too much to type. It's just, I'm just going to throw it out there. It sounds to someone who's not doing it. It may sound to someone who's not doing it like it is a very silly reason why you might not be able to work. But it is the type of thing that makes you that if it is holding you up from working for what you're doing, it's just it's not. You just can't. I'm sorry. Like, when my hand feels like it's on fire, I need to take some time off. So I might I said for a while that I wanted to wait till next year to start taking like weekends off entirely. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, because just my arm is like, it's not good. I have hypermobility, EDS, and ADHD too. Stooped, floppy body, but at least we get less wrinkles. Look, the amount of times I've done this expression in my life, and you can't tell because I've got bright lights on me, but don't ask how much Botox I need to keep my forehead like somewhat stable. The rest of my face has been holding up, but I have made some expressions with this forehead, and it's taken some licks. That's all I'm saying. Let's see, maybe a certain vaccine might have. Let's see. Hey, I look, Glenda. That's what we're here for. Any people, look, if you know people that are scared about getting vaccinated, if you want people to just drag them into chat on a Friday night, send them here. We're here to give people happy encouragement from a scientist that's not out to shame people if they haven't gotten vaccinated yet. And I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna guess that there are a lot of it's. Courtney, I'm glad that you said that, because I did not want to compare my arm being sort of Simone Biles getting a case of the twisties. I'm like, this is gonna. But like, here's the thing. You can't do a thing that's essential to your job, whether it's busting a fucking ankle or having a sore arm from something that sounds silly like carpal and cubital tunnel. You can't do your job. That's part of it. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's chat about Ms. Biles for a second, because everyone in the universe has offered their opinion. Why is everyone being such a dick about her not being able to compete at a level that won't kill her? Like, never mind at top level. Like, there, she posted videos to Instagram this morning of her practicing, and she had a pit with a very soft mat and a soft pit to fall into, and it's showing very clearly like she cannot. She's like, yeah, got it's whatever. And I mean, people outside of the sport are like, what the fuck is the twisties? And I obviously I have not had it. I've not been in a sport where I have to fly through the air. That wouldn't work out. I would kill myself. Like, let me rephrase this. I would be killed by the attempt to do it. Just want to be clear. It's Lindsay has it right. They're racist turnips, but like, it's one of my friend Dan Ellis. He commented about it, saying he's like, yeah, I was a diver when I was younger, and there was one day when I got the twisties in midair, and I was suddenly, and he's like, at first I was a really good diver. I thought, like, this is all of this is, he's like, he felt invincible. And then there was one day where he got lost in the air. He's like, afterwards, I was terrified. I no longer felt that invincibility level. Cybro, my brother, used to be a diver. And that's actually something I don't remember how old we were when he stopped diving, but I want to ask him if he's ever had something like the twisties before, because that just sounds like terrifying to suddenly be midair, have that kind of control and knowledge of your body, and suddenly not know where you are. But I don't see why someone would look at a sport that you have to be. Oh yeah, that's proprioception goes offline. Basically, like, you just suddenly are not aware. And these are people that have the most awareness in the world. Like, if you've ever been an athlete, like if you played, a school sport, like I played volleyball at the college level. If you've played, like, I think in like golf and baseball, they call it a case of the yips. Like, if you get into a slumps, the common cold, the twisties, whatever, no matter what you do, they last about 2 weeks. You're going to be fine in 2 weeks. And she just happened to get this right at the Olympics. Now, she has performed at multiple Olympics. She's performed at multiple world championships. She is, like, whatever, but seeing people saying, oh, she's quitting. Oh, she's let the pressure get to her. Oh, she's all the blah, blah, blah. She has not let pressure get to her in all these world championships. She's not let pressure get to her in all these in these other Olympic events. She's not let pressure get to her over and over and over and over again in her career. This just happens sometimes to gymnasts, and it sucks that it happens now. This was the worst possible time. She can't help it, and she's worth far more as a human being than just what she can do with her body while she's flying through the air. And it's shitty that, like, through the course of people yelling, like, it's these fucking do nothing, talentless hacks, like Charlie Kirk, who every time I see Charlie Kirk, I swear to God, his face has eaten his face. Like, its head is just in on his face just a little bit more. But like, these sad little men are like, you're a bad girl, Simone Biles. You're not doing your. She's fucking incredible, and these guys are just, I just need to yell at her because I need to show my it's, Courtney had it right. Woman has so many medals, she can't fit them all around her neck at once. She's done her part. She's done more in her life than any of us will ever do, athletically, for her country, for whatever she's done more than all of us. She's done a lot. She's incredible. And you know what? She's going to keep on having an amazing gymnastics career. She's going to keep having an amazing life. And no, this is perfect comparison. Sierra just commented, the people comparing her to Carrie Strug are pissing me off. The people comparing her to Carrie Strug are missing. And this is why, like, I'm going to make this comment and then we're going to wrap it up for the day, because this, so mentioning, like I mentioned earlier, we have to talk, when we talk about science, we have to talk about the world that the science takes place in, right? So when talking about Simone Biles, let's talk about, the world that Simone Biles is happening in, the world that Carrie Strug was happening in. Carrie Strug had, I believe, the Carollis, the Bella Carolli, was still her coach. It was still an era when all the gymnasts were expected to, I mean, they're still kind of, for the most part, expected to look like waifish Romanians. And it was a very, a lot of the women that came out of that gymnastics team from the U.S. talked about their eating disorders later. I mean, that's still a problem. But the girls talked about the Carolli camp and how fucking abusive it was. Carrie, I believe, had to retire after that. She was 18. She was pretty fucking young, and she had to retire after that because of the damage it did to her ankle. And it was all, everyone had that, that it's like crying moment where we got to celebrate for the joy of a nation. What about the joy of Carrie Strug? What about that girl that had to give up, that had to sacrifice her body? It's who she like. She was 14. Jesus, it's that like this. But either way, she had to retire. That was the last she ever got to do because she was pushed to do it. And like, here's the thing: she was doing that one vault, and the danger in that was just sticking the landing. Like, she wasn't afraid she was going to fly like haphazardly through the air. She wasn't getting lost. What was happening with her was she was going to hurt an ankle, which, here's the thing. And I don't want to downplay that at all, because that meant she was going to permanently damage herself from the future of the athletics that she wanted to do, right? Which is still it's incredibly fucked up. There was another, and people have talked about this, there was I believe a Russian gymnast who had been healing from a broken leg. And they're like, we want you to take the cast off early because we need you to compete. She snapped her neck. Like, there are stories of these all over the internet, and people are like, why didn't you want to compete? Because I know these are people that know their bodies better than you, better than me, better than everybody who does triple penetration porn. I mean, they know their fucking bodies better than any of us. All right, they're freaks of nature. And I say that as a compliment. You have to be a freak of nature to get to the fucking Olympics. All right, all right. So she was 18. Gotcha. But yeah, so Carrie, either way, she was 18, but that's too young to damage your body for the rest of your life, no matter what the cost, all right? So here's the thing. Simone Biles, the difference between Simone and Carrie, and look, they're both fucking world-class athletes. Don't want to play one off the other. Let's not compete women against each other. Let's not play into that game. Let's not patriarchy this one out. But here's the thing. What's at risk here? It's and people are like, oh, it's just a mental health thing. She must not be tough. The thing is, she's tough enough to know exactly what's going on in her brain. And you have to know yourself really fucking well if you're at that level of play, which none of us are. So she knows what's wrong. And she knows that if she flies through the air, if she tries any of those stunts that are better than anyone else on the planet, remember, no other woman on the planet has even attempted. Some of them are named after her, so of course no one else has attempted them because they're brand new. She does stunts nobody else can do. And people are still like, but why is she just jumping? Why isn't she as good as Carrie? Thank you, CR. Carrie has supported Simone's decision. So it's almost like she knows that if she goes and tries some of these high, twisting, crazy stunts, she knows she's going to hurt herself. So maybe let the girl that's done, when people are like, she's selfish, she's giving up for America. She's won tons of world championships, has more gold hanging off of her than anyone that I know. Just like she's brought home so much. She's brought home so much pride in her accomplishments. Why is this the person that, I mean, we all know, right? Like, we all know she's being picked on because she's black and she's a woman, and she seems like an easy target for these guys who have done nothing but yell into a microphone their whole douchebag lives. Could they maybe just let Simone take a few days to maybe get her head right if she so chooses to, if she feels like she's able to get back to playing? It's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier if she doesn't have douchebags like Charlie fucking Kirk telling her that she's a bad girl. My God. So either way, let's see. What's tougher, doing what's expected of children for years or putting yourself first? That's the thing. It is much hard. I've seen someone on the right trying to play this up as, oh, liberals are applauding her for dropping out. And we all know exactly what they're doing by framing it that way, right? It's like, oh, liberals are weak. No, I'm applauding her doing a thing that had to be astronomically hard to do, because I'm sorry, but she had to, I mean, she has to feel every last insult that's been hurled her way, every last horrible, cause I get people mad at me online for a day, from telling them that Coco the gorilla couldn't talk. And I feel every last one of those insults, and I don't have zillions of followers and the weight of a fucking nation on me, so I don't even want to know how fucking hard it is to be Simone Biles. My God, but having that much weight on you, and having and understanding that there's that much pressure from coaches, from people who have poured money into you, from people who have sponsored all of from people that your teammates, and that's the first people that Simone Biles has any amount of obligation to. First person is herself, obviously, but next her teammates. And I'm going to guess every last girl on that team knows that she made the right decision. And any amount of guilt or feeling bad about what she did, she probably cleared that with herself. Like, I've played sports before. I've done a lot of running in my life. Like, you feel like, you feel before letting anyone else down, you feel like you let yourself down if you got to drop out of an event. Like, I dropped out of a half marathon once 4 miles in because I re-sprained a foot. And like, part of me is like, oh God, am I going to get, like, I was worried that people were going to judge me for that. I was worried of a judgment for that, for me being a no one athlete, that I'm like, am I going to have friends judge me for that? No one gave a shit. So I was a nobody who was just, that was a training run basically. But like, it makes me, I look at this and go, why can't someone who's obviously already really, without a doubt going through a lot of mental anguish over this, why is the first, and we all know why, but like, the fact that the first reaction from a certain group of people, the same group of people that are anti-mask, same group of people that have been like, let's get everyone sick, the same group of people that are like, oh, the only people dying from COVID are old people and sick people, fuck them, are also the same people that are like, you're a bad girl for taking care of yourself, Simone Biles. These fucking pieces of shit. Anyways, but that's about where we should take off for the day, because it's been a lot of days and a lot of days. It's been a lot of rambling, and we've said all we needed to say today. Anyways, I love you guys. Simone, you're definitely not watching this, but if you are, just you're wonderful, and have yourself a good rest, girl. Like, just go have a bubble bath and breather and turn off the internet, for fuck's sake. Like, these man babies need to give it a rest. Anyways, I love you guys. Sunday we are off this week. I need to go finish the MOS to talk about it's a guy that, hold on a second, the way that he's let me just exit out of this. See, the way that he's described at one point in the article, here's your preview. I'm very proud of this line. Like the 1700s version of a guy who slides into your DMs with a dick pic and then calls you a fat whore who won't fuck you, the Royal Society became John Hill's fat whore. That is the line in the article today. So I'm just saying, I'm very proud of that, and you're going to understand exactly what that means in probably an hour it'll be up. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see. I'm not going to be honest. I will see you guys later. And just be good. Keep your masks on. Stay safe. Take care of your families. And it's just Glenda. It was Glenda, right? Glenda, go get vaccinated. You're going to be fine. Anyways, love you guys. Bye.